Hello friends, this is Dr. Sugandha Kangarwag, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, Mahatma Phule Arts, Commerce and Sitaramji Chaudhary Science College, Varud. Today I am presenting Quantum Transitions in Laser, which is included in BSc second year semester 4 syllabus. Before knowing the quantum transitions in laser, we must know what is exactly the laser. Laser is an light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. This is not a definition. This is the full form of laser. So, what is definition then? So, definition of laser is it is highly intense, monochromatic, coherent, polarized, unidirectional beam of light. As we all are at our home, so we have light at our home, that is incandescent lamp. So, that incandescent lamp is ordinary source of light, and laser light, laser pointer you also know. So, what is the difference between that ordinary light and laser beam? See, in this light, the ordinary light is monochromatic and not monochromatic and not coherent. It means that the ordinary light having different wavelengths. See here, the wavelengths are more than one, and also the light waves, that is the ordinary source of light waves, cannot be in phase with each other. But here if we see the laser radiations are monochromatic, that is having same wavelength, and coherent, that is travels in same phase. Now, ordinary light can be spread in all directions, and the laser light is the unidirectional beam, so its divergence is very less. That's why this laser is travel thousands of kilometers if there is no obstacle in its path. But the ordinary source of light spread in all direction, and that's why it has more divergence, that is the more spread, and that's why it can't travel up to long distance. Then ordinary source of light having less intensity, and the laser light having high intensity. Ordinary source of light is unpolarized and laser light is polarized. Then how this laser light will be produced? It is produced when light interact with matter, then three quantum transitions are occur, and during these three transitions that laser beam will be produced. As I uploaded one lecture before 2 days on YouTube, that lecture was on Compton effect. In that, when X-ray photon incident on target material that consists of rest electrons or loosely bound electron, then that electron scattered with high amount of energy, means that electron absorb energy. In same way, when light interact with matter, then these three quantum transitions occur, that is absorption, spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. Now, we will see these three transitions one by one. See the absorption. So, to explain absorption, here I consider two energy level, that is E1 and E2 energy level. In atmosphere, there are various energy level, but for the easy sake of understanding, here I consider only two energy level, that is E1 and E2, where E1 is the ground energy level and E2 is the excited energy level. Now, initially atoms are in the ground energy level here, that ground energy level atom represented by A. When photon of energy h nu incident on the ground energy level atom, it gets excited and goes to the excited state atom here represented by A star. That is, when an atom in the ground energy state E1 absorb an incident photon of energy h nu, its energy increases by an same amount, that is h nu, and it goes to the excited state E2. This process is called as absorption process. That is, A plus h nu becomes A star. This represent the atom goes to the excited state and becomes unstable, A star becomes unstable. Now, in this process, I represent 4 atoms present in the ground energy level, but for our study, for easy sake of understanding, we have considered only one atom, that is as A, and when it goes to the excited state, it becomes A star. That A atom absorbs h nu amount of energy. So, the number of absorption transitions are given by NAB is equals to B12 N1 Q into del 2, where B12 is the probability of absorption transition, N1 is the number of atoms of electrons in the ground energy level. I mention here many times atoms, but that are not exactly the atoms, that are atoms of electrons. Means electron can move from one energy state to the another energy state, not atoms. But for easy word is atom, and that's why I am saying here frequently atom. Q is the photon density and del T is the transition time. Now, next one process is the spontaneous emission process. For this also I consider two energy level. The condition before in absorption means after absorption atom is in E2 energy state, and that atom stay in E2 energy state up to 10 to the power minus 8 second only, and after that it comes to the ground energy level as every particle, every element want to becomes in the stable state. They can't stay in unstable state very much times, and E2 is the unstable state, that is the higher energy state, and that's why this atom in the E2 energy state, that is A star, comes to the ground energy state and becomes stable after emitting h nu amount of energy, that is 1 photon, and that photon is highly incoherent. So, in the text is given, normally the excited state is an unstable state where the lifetime of atom is very short, that is around 10 to the power minus 8 second. Hence, the atom in the excited state E2 returns to the ground state spontaneously by releasing 1 photon of energy h nu. This process is called as spontaneous emission, and that process is represented by A star gives A plus h nu, and number of transitions, number of quantum transitions during spontaneous emission process. Here absorption transitions are written by mistake, but these are the spontaneous emission transitions. NSP is equals to B21 N2 del T, where B21 is the transition probability from state E2 to E1, N2 are the number of atoms present in the excited energy level, that is E2 energy level, and del T is the transition time. Here term Q is not included because Q is the photon density, means how much photon strike trigger on the atom present in the excited state or either atom present in the ground energy level. But here this is the natural process, that is no photon incident, no external photon incident on the excited atom, and that is why there is no involvement of Q in this equation. Now, third one transition is stimulated emission. In this process, an incident photon is absorbed by an incident atom. Now, atom is in E2 state after completion of absorption process. So, when one photon incident on the E2 state atom of electron, it comes to the ground energy state by emitting two identical photon. That is, in this process an incident photon is absorbed by an excited atom, as a result of which the atom becomes unstable in the state E2 and makes a transition to the ground state releasing two photons. This process is called as stimulated emission process. The equation is represented by A star plus h nu gives A plus 2 h nu. 2 h nu means two identical photons. The interesting feature of this process is that emitted photon is identical to incident photon in all respect, that is frequency, direction, polarization and multiplication of photon takes place in this process. So, number of stimulated emission transitions are given by B21 NST is equals to B21 N2 Q into del 2, where B21 is the transition probability from state E2 to E1, N2 is the number of atom present in the excited energy level, that is E2 energy level, Q is again photon density and del T is the transition time. Here there is the involvement of Q because the atom in the E2 energy level absorb the external photon and then it comes to the ground energy level, that is the stable energy level, by emitting two identical photons. So, one photon induces an atom to emit two photons. These two photons de-excites two and more atoms, thereby emitting 4 photons and so on. The number of photons builds up in an avalanche-like manner. The combined effect of all emission from a large sample of atoms lead to amplification of light. The constructive interference of many waves traveling in same direction with same phase produce an intense coherent beam, and that's why this is the key for the operation of laser. Now see here in this diagram, initially there is one photon. When this photon interact with the excited atom, we get two photon. When these two photon interact with the excited atom, we get this photon, that is the multiple photon, and in this way we get 2 to the power n photon, that is we get the multiplication of photon, and that is why this process is most responsible for obtaining laser, and that is why this process is called as the key for the operation of laser. Now, during the production of laser, the metastable state plays a very important role. Now, what is metastable state? It is one of the energy state at which atoms stay for longer time, that is 10 to the power minus 3 to 10 to the power minus 6 second compared to the excited state. Somewhere that time is mentioned as a 10 to the power minus 4 second also. So, metastable state can be explained by considering three energy level. By considering two energy level, the explanation of metastable state is very difficult. That is why here consider the three energy levels. First one is the ground energy level, then this is the middle energy level, and this one is the excited energy level. That middle energy level is considered as the metastable energy level. What happens when atom goes to the excited state by absorption process? This comes to the metastable state. And as the timing for metastable state, rest time for the metastable state is 10 to the power minus 3 to minus 6 second, it is quite greater compared to the excited energy level. That is why number of atoms accumulate in this state more time compared to the ground state. That is, there is the achievement of such condition, that is if number of atoms in metastable state, that is the N2 state here, if N2, that is in E2 state, here E2 is the metastable state if we consider, then N2 are the number of atoms in the metastable state and N1 is the number of atom in the ground state, then this condition we get due to metastable state only, that is N2 greater than N1. Then what is this condition? I will explain in next slide. Now population inversion. So population inversion is the condition in which atoms in the higher energy state more compared to the lower energy state. That is, in non-equilibrium distribution of atom amongst the various energy level atomic system. See here, this is E1 energy level and E2 energy level. The atoms in E2 energy level, that are N2 and that are the more number of atoms compared to the N1 energy level. So, the process in which the atom in E2 energy level more compared to the atoms in the E1 energy level is called as the population inversion process, or that condition is called as the population inversion condition. To induce more atoms in E2 state, to create population inversion, a large amount of energy is required to excite atoms to E2 state. And how the large amount of energy can be supplied to the system, by which process? So, this process is called as pumping. See here, the excitation process of atom. So, N2, so that the population inversion can be achieved, that is N2 greater than N1, is called as pumping. It is difficult to attain pumping when using two level system. It requires three energy levels. Now, the explanation, the pumping is divided into two types, that is 3 level pumping and 4 level pumping. The explanation of 3 level and 4 level pumping is based on their transition probability, that is transition probabilities are most important, plays most important role in explanation of 3 level and 4 level pumping scheme. Now see here, the transition probabilities are given. In 3 level pumping, this is 3 level pumping, one ground energy level, here we can consider ground energy level as the E1 energy level, then this one is the metastable energy level, that is E2 energy level, and this one is the E3 energy level, that is excited energy level as per the 3 level pumping. So when once atom in the excited state due to excitation, that is due to the pumping, then due to highest transition probability, because last energy level, excited energy level is highly excited, its transition probability is very high, that is transition probability from E3 to E2 is highest, that is why that atoms quickly drop to the metastable energy level. Now the transition probability from E2 to E1 energy level is less, that is lowest. So, atoms accumulate in metastable energy level up to some time. So, one situation becomes, that is, the atoms in the metastable energy level are more compared to the atoms in the ground energy level, and hence this is the state of population inversion which is achieved in between this metastable state, that is E2 state, and E1 state. And when there is the stimulated emission process, then there is the production of laser due to large number of atoms of electron in the metastable state can participate in the laser production here. And again, the transition probability from E3 to E1 level is medium, and that is why some atoms of electron naturally drops to the E1 energy level, that is the ground energy level, and become stable. In same way, the transition probabilities of 4 level pumping are also mentioned here, that is the transition probability for E4 energy level and to E3 energy level is highest. See here, this is highly excited energy level, E4 energy level, and this is E3 energy level. So, the atom drops quickly to the metastable state, that is the E3 energy level. Here E3 energy level labeled as the metastable energy level. Again, there is the population inversion in between metastable state and E2 energy state. Here metastable energy level, that is E3 level energy level, is also called as the upper lasing level, and E2 energy level is called as the lower lasing level. And the laser production is possible only between these two energy levels, that is metastable state and E2 energy level, by using the stimulated emission process. So, laser is produced in between these two energy level because large number of atoms can be available to produce the various photons. Large number of photons, that is the intensity of that laser becomes more here between these two energy level. Again, when atoms are in E2 energy level, it comes naturally to the ground energy level and becomes stable. In this way, here I explain 3 level pumping and 4 level pumping scheme, which are very much responsible for the production of laser. There are some types of laser, that is the 3 level laser, ruby laser, which is the solid state laser, and 4 level laser, helium neon laser, that is the gaseous laser, and the semiconductor laser. Means all these transitions, that is the absorption, spontaneous emission, stimulated emission, then population inversion process also, then pumping scheme, then metastable state, which plays a very important role in the production of laser. All these processes are used in such lasers, that is the 3 level laser here, ruby laser, 4 level laser, that is the helium neon laser, and semiconductor laser, and that is why all these processes are used in this. Thank you. If you like my channel, then share it, subscribe it as a Sugandha Khangar on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching my video.